Hello everyone, this is Philip Legier with thecomichunter.net doing a deck tech for my modern mono blue Tron deck, which I'll be playing in a modern daily event here pretty soon. Um, so yeah, mono blue Tron, I chose to play not because I think it's the best deck or one of the better decks. Certainly it's probably tier 2, maybe tier 1.5, but one of the things that it really has going for it is it's very cheap. Especially online, the only really expensive cards in this deck are the Wormcoil engines, which are about $8 maybe. The Oblivion Stones, which are about $12, but you only play one of that in this version. And really, that's pretty much it. Like, Mindslaver might be a ticket or two, Thunder and Titan, same thing. But everything else here is pretty cheap. Remand might run you a couple tickets. But it was recently reprinted in the Jace vs. Vraska duel deck. So, yeah, so that's the thing that drew me to the deck originally. I haven't played it too much. I've played it in a few dailies. I've cashed with it once or twice. But yeah, I'm gonna try and give it another spin tonight here, and I'm actually going to be joined by Alex Lavoie for this. So that should be interesting. So basically, first off, you get your 12 Tron lands. They're called Tron lands because there's three pieces, and there's the tower, the power plant, and the mine. So individually they all tap for 1 mana, but if you get all three out, the power plant will both tap for 2, and the tower will tap for 7. And doing that is like assembling Voltron. So we call this Tron. So this is obviously the core of the deck. Basically, you want to get your Tron online as quickly as possible, so that you have a lot of mana, which will let you cast your Wormcoil Engine, your Mindslaver, your Sundering Titan, or your Platinum Angel. How do you find these? Well, you play a few tutors in the form of Fabricate, which lets you search your library for an artifact, which is useful for finding your win conditions, or if you are missing a Tron piece, you can go get an expedition map, and or a Solemn. In some cases, I've done that. Oblivion Stone too is a big one. And then we played the one Treasure Mage because it does block, and sadly you can only get a artifact with converted mana cost 6 or greater, but given that all our win conditions meet that criteria, that's not really a problem. The only issue arises if we only have Treasure Mage and we're looking to get like an Oblivion Stone or something. But luckily we also have this card, Thirst for Knowledge, which is actually quite insane. It's instant speed, draw 3 cards, and discard 1 if that card is an artifact, or if not, you have to discard 2. We play a lot of artifacts in this deck, so this is one of the stronger cards in the deck, actually. It gives you a lot of digging potential, helps you find your Tron. You can end up discarding like redundant expedition maps or talismans. Very strong card. Now, we play a bunch of counter spells because we want to kind of stall until we can get our big combo going. So we play 4 Remands, 4 Condescends because we are going to have access to a lot of mana. The Scry is also nice for assembling the rest of our combo pieces. The Repeal, they're there to like kind of deal with any troublesome permanents that you might come across. They also draw you a card, so you end up being even on card advantage. Cyclonic Rift, you can quite easily overload this card, and it can be a really big blowout in some situations. And then another kind of win condition that we play is Spell Burst. It's not really a win condition, but with the buyback, you can kind of have infinite counter spells once you get enough mana, which is obviously pretty powerful, especially because a lot of the cards in the format are pretty cheap. So, like, if you're countering a 1-drop, the entire spell with buyback costs you 5, which when you have like 15 mana out is not bad, obviously. Rounding out the lands, we have a bunch of islands, and Oboro, Palace in the Clouds, as a way to get blue mana. It's got about two or three uses. First of all, it's not an island, so that's nice when you have, say, Sundering Titan out. You don't have to kill one of your own islands if your opponent isn't playing islands. But also, against Merfolk, um, they don't get island walk with this guy out. So you can actually block them with your Solemn and your Treasure Mage while you and your Worm Coil. So against Merfolk, it's nice to not have to play islands to get blue. I mean, you also have Talisman of Dominance for that role, but it's another helpful thing. The other thing is if you haven't played a land this turn, you can kind of turn some of your colorless mana into blue mana by like bouncing the Oboro and tapping it again. So you can get like 2 blue in a turn out of this one land, but you have to sacrifice a land drop. Academy Ruins lets you go infinite with Mindslayer, though that's hard to do online because you're not necessarily going to have enough time to deck them with it, but at least if you get a creature out, you can kind of just hit them a bunch of times. There's a lot of decks too that just lose to themselves if you get to mind control them, like Storm or Pod. So it's really strong for us. Like you can get your it sucks if your guys get paffed or whatever, but if they just die to Bolt or like double Bolt or getting blocked by a big Tarmogoyf or Liliana, you can just get your Worm Coil engine back with the Academy Ruins, and that's pretty powerful. Tectonic Edge just generally useful. Kills colonnades. Kills. I've also killed like opposing Tectonic Edges with it, if they tap out or whatever. So that's the main deck. Looking at the sideboard, we got Spell Pierce for the control and combo decks. Relic of Progenitus, obviously, for those Snapcaster graveyard decks. Living End. Squelch is good. It's good against Pod. It's good against, like, obviously you can counter fetch land activation with it, which is pretty strong. Honestly, I haven't had too much success with this card, but I've seen a lot of people play it, so that's one of the reasons I have it in my board. Spreading Seas, basically equivalent to land destruction against certain decks, plus it draws you cards, so lets you kind of dig a bit more into your deck. Dismember, good against like Twin, where you don't really care too much about your life total, but you don't want them to have... They have like 1 or 2 important creatures that you want to get rid of. Otherwise, it's good against aggro. Obviously, you can bounce their whole attacking team. And then we have the 4th repeal in the board. So that's the deck. That's the deck I'm going to be playing. And I hope to see you guys in round 1.